Let's bring in Tony Dungy, Football Nightmare. Tony, really? A committee called the Catch Committee that's going to be able to...
We're making it way too hard. And I'll tell you what's happened, Dan, instant replay. For years and years and years, we never had a problem determining what was a catch. And I happened to be there in 1999. Bert Emanuel caught a ball that for 50 years had been a catch. And all of a sudden, the first year of instant replay, they take a look at it because it was inside 2 minutes. And they said, oh, the ball may have grazed the ground. That's not a catch. We ended up, losing the game, and there was this big outcry. Of course that's a catch. So they had a big committee meeting then to define what a catch was and went through it, and that kind of stood up for a while. And then Calvin Johnson, we were actually in the studio, caught a ball that everybody in the world knew was a catch. And he kind of took a couple steps, braced himself, got down to celebrate, and they said it was incomplete. And so we just made it way too hard. And I think they could get a committee and say, just let's go back to common sense, and we know what a catch is.
The commissioner said, hey, he doesn't know what a catch is. Now we have a catch committee. It's just going to make it even more complicated here.
We don't know now. I mean, we saw you play Calvin Johnson's catch that they said was not a catch side by side with Golden Tate a couple of weeks ago that was definitely an interception that they said was a touchdown. He had the ball for about a tenth of a second. Calvin Johnson had it for a second and a half, took 2 steps, went to the ground, got up celebrating, and lost it. And that was no catch because he hit the ground, and Golden Tate didn't have the ball 1/10 of a second, and it was a touchdown because he got both feet down and didn't hit the ground. It's just we've made it way too hard.
All right, let's look at last night, the Cardinals. Where would you rank the Cardinals with all teams in the NFL, not just the NFC? Are they the second best team in the league right now?
I'm not sure that the NFC teams are as good as the teams in the AFC. I'm just not sure about that. But the Cardinals are good. They play explosive offense. When they have everybody on board, they're really good on offense. They blitz you on defense, and they make it tough. And playing at home, they're going to be tough to beat. But I'm still not sure that they're as good as some of the AFC teams.
So you would is Carolina the best team in the league just because they're undefeated?
No. And I like Carolina, and they're good. But I'll tell you this, the style of play that they play, they're going to play close games. Things happen, and they're more susceptible to getting beat, I think, even though they're a very, very good team. They play a lot of close games.
All right, well, then who's the best team in the NFL right now?
I don't know that we know that for sure. Right now, we can't say New England because they've got too many people hurt. But when they have everybody healthy, if Gronkowski can play and Edelman can play and their offensive linemen can play, I still like them. And I think playing at home, they'd be the toughest to beat. But you got to have everybody healthy, and that's the thing. Right now, Carolina is fairly healthy, and maybe that's why they're undefeated.
Bill Belichick created some headlines when he said that he would include J.J. Watt in the conversation with Lawrence Taylor. First 5 years being one of the more disruptive defensive players of all time. Your thoughts when you heard that?
He is. He's very disruptive, and you look at what he's done and having 20 sack years and playing in different spots, and everybody looking to double team him. I go back to Joe Green, and that's disruption, and I think J.J. Watt's in that category. All
right, let's say there's an open draft, and I give you any defensive player in history to start your team with.
I'm going to take either Joe Green or Dick Butkus. I didn't play against Dick Butkus. I just saw the tapes. I'm probably taking Joe Green because I saw that firsthand.
Yeah, I was wondering about that too. I think Reggie White gets shortchanged here because he was such a nice man. Like he there was no real physical, angry. Mean Joe Green was mean when he first got into the league, as you know, because you played with him. Lawrence Taylor had that feel to him. J.J. Watt seems to play that way too, but off the field, he's probably more like Reggie White. So I always thought Reggie White was so dominant, but maybe we didn't look at him the same way because he was just a nice guy.
Well, Reggie was a great player, too, and the thing that Reggie and J.J. Watt have going against them is the rules, and it's been legalized. Kind of, there's more holding. The linemen can do different things than they could do back in that early era. There's more scheming and chip blocks and all kinds of things to try to slow people down. So, yeah, I think they had to deal. Reggie and JJ have had to deal with a lot more than the early guys did in terms of game planning and schemes against them. So, yeah, I'd have to put Reggie White in the discussion also.
But there's sack numbers, and there's more sacks now than the opportunities because there are more passes. I
way more, yeah.
Right? I mean, you can look back when guys were throwing it. Like if you threw 20 times in a game, that seemed like it was an awful lot, and you were losing and just trying to come back. Now you throw that in the first half.
Yeah, I'll tell you, you put Joe Green and L.C. Greenwood and those guys in this day and age where you're rushing 50 times, they would put up some incredible numbers too. So yeah, it is a different game. It's different blocking, but it's certainly more opportunities too.
We're talking to Tony Dungy, Football Night in America, joining us, Dan Patrick Show. If you were coaching in Philadelphia and you have your running back talk to the owner and complain about his touches after a big win against the Patriots, how would you have handled that situation with DeMarco Murray?
You have to know the situation. And I was telling some people this earlier. When I was in Pittsburgh, everybody talked to Mr. Rooney. So, it was, he wanted it that way. Hey, come talk to me. And so it wasn't, hey, Mr. Rooney, we want to get Chuck Noll fired. It's, hey, here's what's going on. Here's how I feel. And he welcomed that. So I don't think it would be seen as anything out of the ordinary. But, yeah, if in this day and age and owners aren't around as much, and if I'm going there because I'm unhappy with the coach, then that is different. But I think you have to know the situation. A lot of my players talked to Jim Irsay a lot. He was just around, and he was that kind of owner. So I don't think you can read into it without knowing the whole story.
Yeah, I think there's more to it. It feels like DeMarco Murray wants to get cut, that he wants out of Philadelphia. He realizes it's not the right situation. He got his money, but he would like to go back to Dallas. It seems like it's orchestrated to me.
Well, I could see that, and players learn that. I mean, you always think that more money somewhere else means it's going to be a better situation. And we had players like that left and came back, wanted to come back, and understood, hey, you know what, playing with Peyton Manning is pretty good if I'm an offensive player. If I'm a running back, I'm never going to run uphill. I'm never going to run into crowded situations. He's only going to put me in situations where I can have success. If I'm a receiver, boy, I get a lot of balls on the back shoulder and accurate and everything. I go someplace else, and it's not as easy. I may be getting more money, but it's not as much fun. And I think guys realize that sometimes too late.
I just brought this up about Jerry Jones and commenting. This is after a win, and he said, we won on will, not tactical mastery, which is a shot at his coach. And
yeah, that's about as good a shot as you can give.
So the timing of it, Tony, is what's interesting here with Jerry Jones, and he's been known to do things spur of the moment here. It felt like Jason Garrett was given a hall pass this season due to injuries, and I think Jerry Jones is looking back going, we should have had a couple more wins here, and we didn't. Those comments just struck me as they've stayed with me the last couple of days just because I'm thinking it's Jerry Jones, the Cowboys, and maybe there's something else attached to it.
Yeah, it's weird, too, because he likes Jason a lot. He thinks he's a good coach. He's made this pack. Jason's his guy, so that surprised me, too. I think maybe he was just sending a message to his coaching staff, just what you're saying. Hey, everybody may be giving us a hall pass, but we really expect more than this. We should have had more than this, and there's no reason for us to lose 6 or 7 games in a row. So I'm not sure why he said that, but you can bet that it was calculated. He said it for a reason.
Johnny Manziel playing for his future these last 4 games?
I don't know about that. I'm not sure what's going on there. Johnny Manziel just needs to grow up. He can be a good player in this league. He's gotten several chances. Everybody there is telling him, hey, you've got to do it off the field, too. You've got to do it in the locker room. not just on the practice field, not just when you're here. You've got to be the quarterback and be a professional all the way around. And hopefully he learns that and gives himself a chance. We're never going to know if Johnny Manziel can do it if he doesn't give himself a chance.
Well, it's also tough with that dysfunctional organization. Yeah, I mean, it's the organization that can sometimes help out these guys who have issues. And if
Absolutely, and the team, too. I mean, everybody, where are these players saying, hey, look, you can't do this. We're not going to let you do this. We need you to be our quarterback. So I think it's got to be everybody, the organization, his teammates, but most importantly, him.
All right, before I let you go, I love my hypotheticals and my conspiracy theories. Let's say Peyton Manning plays next year, and Sean Payton is gone from New Orleans, and Drew Brees is gone from New Orleans. Let's just say.
Okay.
Could you see Peyton Manning 1 year going back to the Saints, his hometown, the team that his dad quarterbacked, and he plays his final year in New Orleans?
I could see that, and it would have to be the right coach, but I could see that. Yeah, I could.
The right coach like you?
Not me.
Oh, no, not you. Not you.
But someone, and I don't know who it would be, but yes, somebody to take that system and put it in and say, let's do it 1 year. I could see that. I hope it doesn't happen, but I could see it.
Well, I don't think he's coming back to play in Denver.
We'll see. You got to see how the year finishes out. Let's say he comes back week 17 and they go to the Super Bowl. You don't think he would be back?
If he's starting, he will be, but I don't think he's going to be starting.
Well, we'll see.
All right,
see.
I know you're the last holdout with this stuff. When I know I'm always going, it's over for Peyton, and you hold on for dear life. I get it.
See, well, I'm not on the Brock Osweiler greatness yet. I think he's good and he's done well, but let's just hold off yet. I'm not sure he gives them the best chance to win the Super Bowl. We'll see.
If both were healthy next week, you would start Peyton?
I would.
Okay.
Yep. I would.
All right. We're going to have interesting conversations over the next month here, Tony. And Rodney, too. Rodney, here he is leading the bandwagon on the I Hate Carolina Panthers, and he calls out Josh Norman. Josh Norman calls out Rodney Harrison. Did you see those comments?
I didn't see Josh Norman fire back. What did Josh say?
He said Rodney's terrible at his job.
He's critiquing us now. I like it.
But Rodney did say that Josh is the best cornerback in football, but he's going to have his hands full with Julio Jones. And I guess
Josh took offense at that?
Yeah. Well, you know how these players are.
I disagree with that. I don't know anybody who doesn't have their hands full with Julio Jones.
I'll see you on Sunday, Coach.
Sounds good. All right, DP.
Tony Dungy, Football Night in America.